Okay, is Charlene the Samsung SM?
I think that's Jerry.
Okay, because yours is coming up as Jerry, so.
Okay.
I don't know who the Samsung is.
Do you show Philip candidate?
I do, you're there.
All right.
I'm just,
No.
you see what, I do have a phone number here, maybe. Okay, 32309. Okay. All right, I found her. All right.
Hello.
We can hear you. Good. Okay. It is 6 o'clock. Call this meeting to order in accordance with section 209.0051C2. This meeting's been held electronically. If anyone has any questions at any time, there's a chat room down at the bottom that you can put your questions in. The secretary will be recording these questions, and we will either respond to them via email or put them for another meeting. We have present Kelle Rahm, Jerry Sullivan, Charlene O'Brien, Philip Canaday, and Kelle Rahm. Approval of minutes from July 27 board meeting.
Point of order.
Okay.
Okay. What is the purpose of this special meeting?
To discuss amendments to the CCR and discuss the expenditures so we can try and get some road stuff done.
Well, you know, I'm looking at this agenda, and I think the only thing that qualifies for a special meeting at this time is to get funds for the roads. I think the rest of these items should be held in a regularly scheduled open board meeting.
Okay, well, anybody else have a comment?
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree the roads need attention and it warrants this meeting. But the other items, I also made a note that can be held in a regular board meeting. It doesn't need to be a special.
Philip?
And if what we can do here at this meeting is agree on a schedule for a regularly scheduled board meeting.
Well, I specifically called this for the amendment to the CCRs for a specific reason that we'll talk about.
That's not what it says. That you didn't
Discuss an amendment to the CCRs.
You didn't specify when you called this board meeting what it was about. You just said you have a special board meeting.
Okay.
That's the only notice you sent out.
Kelly?
Am I on mute?
Not now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I sent out the information that we were given, and then the agenda you sent out, I believe, today or yesterday.
The agenda was sent out today. The special board meeting was called a couple of days ago.
Kelly?
Yeah, and as bad as I hate to admit it, I am ill prepared for anything on those amendments. I had no idea that anyone was even prepping for a special meeting. I didn't realize that those were going to be called to a special meeting, and I am hundreds of thousands of miles away.
And we weren't even consulted on this special meeting. All we got was a notice. I don't think that's fair to the board members.
And I think it's fair to the community that we're not prepared. Lack of communication, why?
I'm not quite sure, Jerry, why it's such a big deal, because the amendment that she wants to talk about to the CCRs is just about whether or not to send out what an attorney has advised we do to the membership and let them decide what to do with it.
Well, I think we should have been given a notice in advance so we'd have a chance to look it over and see, you know? Again, I mean, it's, you know, what's fair to the board and to the community is that we have some advance notice and have an opportunity to agree to cover these items. And now we just get hit with it this morning. And
You
we
don't have to make a decision if you don't want to, Jerry, but I don't see any problem with us talking about it.
Well, that's fine. That's your opinion. I'm enforcing mine.
Understood.
Kelly, did you have
think
anything
we
that
have
you
some
needed to
things-
add?
Well, I just figure we've all had trouble getting together with illness and COVID and vacations and surgeries. You know, if everybody's here, why can't we talk about things? That was the whole, you know, email that came out is we're not having a board meeting, we're not having a board meeting. So I feel like we're trying to move forward and get things done.
Well, but we were told we were having a special meeting. We weren't told that we're having a regular board meeting. And again, I think there's a difference between a special meeting and a board meeting. And a special meeting is something that needs to be done as quickly as possible. The other items are items that can be done at a regularly scheduled board meeting, a regularly scheduled open board meeting. And again, I think now we got everybody together, now would be a good time to schedule one of those.
Anybody else? Okay. Everybody has the minutes from April 27th. Are there any changes that need to be made to those minutes? We were not able to approve them last time. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes from July 27th?
All motion to accept.
Do I have a second?
I think Phil's muted and Charlene may be muted too.
Okay, hang on.
I need the ability to mute and unmute myself.
So do the property owners.
Hello?
Okay, we hear you, Charlene.
Thank you. I have a question right back before you started on the minutes. May I ask it?
Okay.
I thought that I heard someone say that we were under the advisement of an attorney to follow through with an amendment. Did I hear that correctly?
We'll talk about that in, when we get to that, that item.
Well, my question was, are we under the advisement of an attorney with regards to these amendments?
Yes.
the board is under advisement of an attorney.
We'll talk about it. We need to get through this approval of the minutes, please. Can we get through the approval of the minutes so we can get to that line item?
I mean, if you refuse to answer my question, please proceed. If you're not going to answer it, I can't force you to.
It's not the right time. Follow your agenda, please.
So we have a motion by
Come first.
We have a motion by Kelly. Do I have a second?
Philip, seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Okay. I'm the deciding vote and I say aye. Next item, approval of minutes from August 24th board meeting. Did anybody have any questions about that? I had one, where did it go? On page 2, under the website, we have made a motion to obtain the new domain name of cbaspoa.net. We just needed to add the cbaspoa.net.
Right, I'll make that change.
Thank you. Anybody else? Do I have a motion to accept the minutes?
I'll motion to accept them.
Philip, seconds.
All in favor?
Aye. Philip votes aye.
Okay. Kelly?
I said aye.
Jerry?
Nay.
Charlene?
Nay. Nay.
I'm the deciding vote on that, and I say aye. Okay, next, discuss and act on amendment to the CCRs. I've been discussing our CCRs with an attorney and have been advised that a vital part of the document does not have the wording to dissolve the association should the members choose to do so. He's advised us that the wording to be added to section C9 should read, a property owners association is not required by the covenants, restrictions, reservations, assessments, and provisions in any existing POA may be dissolved with the majority vote of the current property owners. Any discussion?
And who is this attorney?
His name is Jim Barrett. He is with Skelton, Slusher, Barnhill, Watkins, Wells.
And are we going to be given the opportunity to read this letter?
I can send you the copy of the email that he sent me.
I think we need to see it.
Okay.
When did we vote to seek out an attorney?
We didn't vote. I sought him out personally.
Well, again, I think we should be given the opportunity to review this and decide if we want to involve anyone else before we make a motion or to vote on this.
Philip?
I'd like to hear more about it. It's standard language that all bylaws or all formations of any corporation include how to dissolve. That's shouldn't require a great deal of haggling over, because it's standard legal expected language. Otherwise, a corporation would never be able to unwind itself.
Yeah, but I think we should be given a chance.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Charlene.
And what I said was that I understood what Phil was saying, but my question again was, why are we talking about dissolving the POA?
Because that's the next step.
The next step in what?
If this is approved, then the motion to the members to dissolve this POA.
And so that I'm clear, it's been out a proposed change that has that wording to dissolve the POA to send out to a member vote.
Yes, we have to send that out first before the vote. Because the bylaws they're not bylaws. They're covenants and restrictions. We don't have bylaws. They're totally separate. And the covenants and restrictions are so far out of whack, and there's no leadership or no direction. And so it's of my opinion that this association needs to be dissolved. But in order to do so, that one little paragraph has to be put in there first. Kelly?
I'm like Phil. I think it's something we need to talk about. I definitely am interested in it, especially based on recent events.
Again, I don't think we have enough information at this point in time to vote on this.
To vote.
The members who vote.
Yeah, it's the member. This is just to put out a vote to the members to add this paragraph.
But we don't have the documents to start with this. Isn't that right? What document do we have to dissolve the POA?
That's why we have to add this paragraph.
Okay.
I think you're asking, Kelly, you're asking for approval of the board to put out a vote to the members to add this clause in the CCRs?
Yes.
Okay. Making sure I understand that. I don't see any reason why we can't send a vote. I mean, you can send the information and send the vote, and the property owners can either say yay or nay.
Well, again, before we send something out, I think we should have something drafted up that we all approve of for it to go out.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That makes sense, Jerry. So, Kelly, how can you give all of the members, do you have something that you can share with us now?
I have the email. It says the amendments to the CCRs will state that a property owners association is not required by the CCRs, and any existing POA may be dissolved with a majority of the vote of the current lot owners. If it's then the board will then need to prepare a resolution stating that the board recommends the POA be dissolved, and then a separate vote of the lot owners to approve the dissolution will occur. Should that pass, then a certificate of termination stating that all procedures required to dissolve the POA have occurred and can be filed with the Secretary of State.
Okay. Yeah, you went further than what I needed. I just needed to hear the language.
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that it seemed appropriate. Didn't need to be tweaked or anything.
We would just be sending a ballot out to change or to add paragraph C9 to state a property owners association is not required by the covenants, restrictions, those things, and any existing POA may be dissolved with a majority vote of the current property owners. Agree or disagree? Is what the ballot would say.
That's pretty close. I have no issues with that wording.
It sounds basic, but I want to see the wording and us have a chance to approve it before it goes out. That's my opinion.
Okay, so Kelly, can we all just agree that you can put something together to send to us as to what the ballot would look like, and then we'll go ahead and everybody can make the decision, and if Jerry and Charlene and Phil and I are all okay with it, then we just send the ballot.
Well, I think we need to have provide a little discussion as to why it's going out.
Well, I think
Yeah, I
that's
agree
pretty
with that.
obvious.
It's wording that needs to be in there. And I think Kelly's already explained why she feels that it's time to add it, which should be there. It wasn't there.
Well, and that's
She
fine.
wants to do something, and there's no means to do so because the wording was never added into our founding documents.
Well, that's fine, but again, I think that the board should have an opportunity to review and have input before we send something out.
And may I ask what the driving force of dissolving the POA is? I haven't heard that.
It doesn't function anymore. This POA does not function anymore. Period.
That's an opinion.
It really doesn't matter. The wording should be there for us to be able to do that. Whether or not we choose to or not, or whether or not the membership chooses to do, not as irrelevant at this moment.
And that's fine, but again, I think we don't have what we need to vote on it at this point in time.
I'm fixing to
Disagree.
send it to
It's too
you.
boilerplate. It's too boilerplate not to agree on it. There's nothing to discuss about it. It should be in our documents, and it's not. And it's not complicated. It's a very simple thing.
It may be simple, but I'm a simple person, and I'll admit that, and I want to see it and have a chance to go over it before I say, yes, I want to vote on moving forward with it.
Okay, I just sent you the ballot that would be sent out.
Didn't wait for ourselves with putting it on a ballot. I mean, I understand that you say that we don't function as a property owners association, but I disagree. We take money in, we pay our bills. Just because our paperwork is outdated doesn't mean that our homeowners and our lot owners do not want a property owner association.
The majority of them that I speak with do not want one. They just want their roads fixed, which we can take care of that afterwards.
I don't see how you're going to take care of that if you don't have an association.
Called a private road maintenance agreement.
Again, you're saying all these things are available and we can handle it later. I think there should be a plan if we're going to do something like this, and we don't have a plan at this point. Maybe you have a plan, but you haven't shared it with us.
Well, that's because we can't have a decent conversation amongst the board members.
I mean, this is a decent conversation, and whenever anyone else is finished, I would like to ask a question if I could.
Okay?
My question is this. We dissolve the board, property owners association, because it's not functioning. The roads need to be kept up. It's going to take money. The county cannot come in and take care of it because the roads do not meet minimum guidelines. How can we force the current homeowners to sign a note to pay for road maintenance forever and ever, amen. Because that's what would need to happen. How do we do that?
So in a private road, because our roads are private, the part of the road that is connected to your property is basically the property owner's responsibility. If you look at the laws, and if somebody, I hate to say this, but if somebody wanted to sue somebody because they didn't pay their fair share, as the state calls it, somebody could do so. Now, I would hope that the people in this community would be able to amicably come to an agreement of, okay, we need a couple of loads of rock to spread out, which is another issue anyways, and going forward, and we'll talk about that when we get to the roads, because not all these roads belong to each section in the association. If you look at the plat maps, the beginning of that stop sign down there all the way to Little Lake it belongs to the Polly Ryan people, or it's in the Polly Ryan. It's not part of any of our plat maps. And that section that ends right behind Rampway, behind the horns there, all the way up to Sweet Gum, that is not in any of our plat maps. So we're wasting money on sections of the road. Yeah, we all use them, and I get it. But it's extra money that technically we don't have to, so technically we can, take them to court if we need to ask them to pay. I don't want to do that. I want to try and do this amicably. We just want our roads. We want to be able to get to our house. Private road maintenance agreement is the best option, and get rid of the rest of this bull crap that's been going on. We don't have to have the extra BS that goes on with it.
Well, this is all new information, and I don't think we should be voting on it.
I've been talking about this for years, Jerry. I mean, even Joe Chambers and I have talked about it.
But you haven't brought it before the board or the general property owners.
And that's what I'm doing now. And that's what I would like to do now.
This is just giving us permission to bring it before the property owners, correct?
Correct.
So, Philip makes a motion I motion the board to send out ballots to the members using the language provided by the attorney for a member vote.
Well, we can't just base this off of one attorney's opinion. And if we are going to send this out to the members, then if we never unite on another thing, we need to be united on this. We need to be able to speak to these members when they call us, when they question us, to explain why this is good for them.
But I think
I don't feel...
But I don't
There's
think...
a motion on the floor that has to be taken before any discussion. If there's a second, then we can discuss it before we vote.
I'll second it, because you're just asking, Phil, for us to put this language out and let the property owners decide if they want to add this clause to the bylaws or not. Am I
If they don't like the wording, if they don't like any of it, they just say, no, don't want to do that. Go away.
Okay.
And at least we have the language, begun. We have a lot of work to do in those bylaws, those CCRs. They're a mess.
Yes, they are.
I do have a second. Now we can discuss.
Okay.
All right, again, I think there should be something drafted in order to send out to the property owners explaining why this would be done. And so
Are you able to type into the chat exactly, the word for word exactly what you have in front of you so everybody can see it?
Yeah.
I don't have that capability. I can't see that.
Hey, did you get my email that I sent you?
Nope. Sorry.
Okay. All right. So, okay. Let's see if I can get this going. Y'all go ahead and keep discussing while I type this into the chat. All right, I typed it in. Has everybody had a chance to read that?
Not yet. I must not be reading what you typed, Kelly. So I'm seeing a property owners association as the first words. Is that what you typed?
Yes. A property owners association is not required by the covenants, restrictions, reservations, assessments, and provisions, and an existing POA may be dissolved with a majority vote of the current property owners.
That sounds just general. It does not sound like language for our covenants.
If it's in the Texas Property Code, there should be some references to it.
There is nothing in the property code, and there is nothing in the covenant, our current CCRs, that says anything about dissolving. This is why
this doesn't either.
Yes.
The way it says a property owners association is not required by the covenants, restrictions, reservations, assessments, and provisions. Required and any existing POA may be dissolved with the majority vote. Well, we're talking about our POA, not any existing POA.
Okay, you want to change it to Camp Branch Acres?
Yeah, Camp Branch.
Okay.
It's supposed to be the method used by your association should the members choose to dissolve it. How do they go about it? What's the procedure? I don't see that in here.
Alright.
So let's
change any existing POA to Camp Branch Acres.
This Camp Branch Acres POA may be dissolved upon a majority vote of its membership.
law that we have to have this in our bylaws in the first place, or our covenants, that the POA be dissolved.
If the property owners want to vote to dissolve the POA, this language has to be in there because there is nothing in the CCRs that states how it can be dissolved.
But all we're talking about right now is putting out up as this amendment to the restrictive covenants, correct?
So that we can move forward to dissolve.
I understand.
We have to do the amendment first, and then a second vote would go out to the property owners.
If we agree,
Is adding this amendment, or an amendment like this, that has the structure to dissolve Camp Ranch Acres POA, be added to the covenant. If that passes, it's added, and then a ballot will be sent out to the members to vote on whether it's dissolved.
Correct.
This putting two in one, and that's too much.
No, you have to do things. You have to do things in order. You can't move on to the next step. We can't send out a ballot asking people to dissolve until we have this verbiage in there.
We're saying the same thing, Kelly. That's
Okay.
exactly what I just said.
So we're talking about sending out the vote
to add this to our covenants,
Yes,
and that's it.
that's it.
But you still need to change the language as Phil was stating that we need to say that it's
Right. That's the motion I made is going to have to be totally made over again because I no longer agree with the language that you provided.
Okay, so
If anybody can repeat what I just said, that was adequate for me.
Okay, I took out any existing POA and changed that to Camp Ranch Acres Subdivision Property Owners Association. Everything else was the same.
That's not what I said, so.
Okay, so what? Okay, then talk about
Can we
what.
go back and see what I said? I basically said CDA POA may dissolve upon receipt of a majority vote of its members.
Okay. Okay. Maybe the majority of the current property owners. Plain and simple. Camp Ranch Acres Subdivision Property Owners Association may be dissolved with a majority vote of the current property owners.
Anybody else see any problem with that wording?
I'm sorry, I
read.
can't see it. Can you read it again?
Camp Ranch Acres Subdivision Property Owners Association may be dissolved with a majority vote of the current property owners.
Okay. Go back and add the sentence to C9 that states, a property owners association is not required by the covenants, restrictions, or reservation, assessments, and provisions.
And we're taking that out. I'm making the modifications here on this as we're talking. Bill has motioned to change it to strictly Camp Ranch Acres Subdivision Property Owners Association may be dissolved with a majority vote of the current property owners, period. That's what Phil's motion was for.
That is my amended motion.
Okay. Do I have a second?
We already had, well, yeah, we need a second because I amended it.
Sorry, I was on mute, I couldn't get off. I'll second it.
Any other discussion about this change?
Read it over one more time and see what it says.
C9, Camp Branch Acres Subdivision Property Owners Association may be dissolved with a majority vote of the current property owners.
And okay,
That's what Phil made the motion to change it to. Okay, we have a motion by Phil, seconded by Kelly. All in favor?
Aye.
Kelly says aye.
Nay, I'm not in favor. Kelly, you had an opportunity to take this to an attorney. I would like to take it to an attorney.
Okay.
My name is Dawn Smith, and me to be part of this, it's legal advice myself. Because I didn't even know that this talk was even out there. I mean, this is being presented to me completely off guard.
Jerry?
I'm Nay again. I think this should be in
Okay.
the regular scheduled open board meeting.
Okay. Well, as far as the board vote, I'm the deciding factor, and I say yes.
And you say we can't conduct ourselves as a board. You had the right and the time to go out and get a legal opinion, and out of the same respect, us not having, me specifically not having known about this at all, you will not afford me any time to get an opinion on it.
We're talking about it right now.
Yeah, you just now brought it up.
Kelly? Kelly?
Yes,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I just got a text from Charlene saying that she's muted.
No, we can hear her.
Sorry, I did
Oh, that was a while ago,
back.
maybe.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Charlene, I respect your opinion to get an attorney's, your own attorney's opinion on this, and you're welcome to do so.
But you won't table it and give me to do that.
If we can get this out, at least the members will have the 20 days to be able to vote to add this paragraph in there. Because it's not in there. Now, after that, once it comes back, if it passes, then we can talk even further about dissolution of the association. Right now, we're just talking about putting this vote out for this one amendment to add this one paragraph, this one little sentence.
Yes, I'm in complete understanding of that.
Okay.
I'm still not comfortable with the wording that you're putting out, is my point.
What wording do you want? I mean, the motion is passed.
I would like to get, I am not an attorney. I would like to get legal advice.
Okay.
I never once in my life claim to know it all.
Okay. All right. Well, the motion passed. So,
Okay.
the next item is discuss and act on expenditures. I think everybody has been able to get into the G Drive to look at the finances. Jerry had asked for $2,000 for road repairs. We've also discovered, again, that not all the roads, I know they're all bad and we have maintained them for years, but they do not belong to the POA, if you look at the plat maps. So we need to either figure out the one section here on Camp Branch that needs to be repaired. We need to move money around, figure out where we're going to take it from, because the road fund was overextended by $5,000. And since we tabled all the moving around of the funds at the last meeting.
We did not.
We did.
No, we didn't. If you go back and you listen to the recording, we agreed to move money from the money market account over into an emergency road fund account.
No, it was to the,
Capital expenditures.
yeah, capital expenditures. That's what it was for.
And where are you going to spend capital money if you don't spend it on the road?
Well, we have see, that was the thing. We needed to either rename some of these things, move the money around, but y'all didn't want to do that.
No,
We changed the money market account to capital expenditure account. That was it. And then everything else couldn't agree on.
Nothing else was proposed to move into the road fund.
I remember the discussion being that we didn't have a lot that was hanging out there, and to move a bunch of stuff around just really didn't make sense. That primarily the way that we have it, as far as changing line items, works.
And we discussed that just being a chart of accounts for all intents and purposes. And there's no reason why we can't agree to move money from one of those other accounts where we've got money into the road funds.
And that's what I think Kelly's asking to do, so that we can work on the roads. Because before...
Well, let's get on with it.
Yeah, the last meeting is we wanted to move money, but nobody wanted to move it. So we just left it as it was and just changed the type of account that it was.
Nobody proposed to move money into the road funds. There was no discussion on that.
There was, if you look at the transcript starting at 3828 or 3728, it does say that we wanted to combine several categories together and put that money for the budget together, so we could then move forward and say this would be the budget for the road. We would have need to increase that budget for the road, etc., and that would have put all that money in one. And then there was a discussion to combine the postage, the supplies, and secretary's pay into one line item as well.
Well, that's your interpretation. You know, that's behind us right now. Let's get on with
It's not an interpretation, Jerry. It's a transcript that your daughter made that I sent you a copy of today. It's not an interpretation. Anybody can look at that.
That's not a complete transcript. That's a translation by Google, okay? If you look at the complete transcript, there's some additional things in there. But
that is the entire transcript downloaded from the YouTube information that Jennifer posted out there. All you have to do is click the button and it will download the transcription from that. And it documents the time and what was said.
I've got a transcript that reads differently, and it was on the phone. It was.
So can I interject? Maybe I can help.
Phil?
Okay. I'm looking right now at a copy of our 2024 financials that show our budget and our expenses and our income for the entire year, January through December. What I see is that we earned approximately $9,000, I think, on $9,200 in fundraising activities. Is that correct, Kelly? Harold? Or no, not Kelly. I'm sorry, Charlene.
Fundraising. Some of those were outright large donations that didn't have anything to do with fundraising. But yes,
right, I see 1,050 in January and 1,000 in October from separate from the May, June, July fundraising?
I would be
My
confident.
point is we have extra money that exceeded our normal dues.
That's correct.
And if I'm reading this right, we've got approximately, I'm sorry, I don't see the spot.
Yeah.
Where I've got our total balance. We got just under $5,000 currently in checking, or in,
Yes.
so
They don't.
since that is outside of our budget, because we exceeded our budget for road repair by it was supposed to be 3,000, we spent over 8,000 on road repair this year. But we still, because of the fundraising efforts, we have a surplus, which even if we are putting it towards like a capital reserve account because it's outside of our budget, to me a capital reserve account is for this very type of thing, for a needed expense that's outside of our budget. It's a reserve for emergencies.
Yep.
Does anybody have any comments on that? To me, I would be hard pressed to not spend money for road repair, since that's basically the only thing this association does.
I'm in agreement.
Okay. Any other discussion?
What about the roads that aren't technically,
Legally, we can't do anything to those roads. We can't touch the roads that belong to Polly Ryan legally. We cannot spend money outside of our own property for repairs to other people's property.
So we're gonna tell the people up the road from past Highline Drive that we can't go up there and do anything for them because it doesn't legally belong to Camp Ranch?
It's against the law for us to do so. It opens us up even to liability.
Oh my, okay, now wait a minute. This is getting out of hand. This is getting way out of hand. Now.
take a look at the plat maps. Take a look at the plat maps.
We have operated for years as a community, taking care of one another. And now, in a 12-month period, we are going to tell people that legally we can't help with your road because on the plot map it doesn't say Camp Ranch
They
Acres.
have to give us permission to do it, my dear.
Well, my dear, sir, why don't we ask them why don't we get permission from them and just say we're not gonna do any repairs?
That would be the proper thing for us to do, is send out a notice to those addresses and ask them if they would like to contribute to the road repair fund and give us permission to work on their road while we're doing ours.
Well,
Another reason why we need to do a private road maintenance contract.
I'm not going to volunteer to do any road repairs until that issue is resolved. I got a 4-wheel drive, I can drive through potholes, because I'm not going to be telling my neighbors that I'm not willing to work on your road.
And we better send out that letter.
Yeah, I
Get out of it right away.
better get out.
You need to have repairs done on our roads as well? Would you like to get those approved?
I'd like to go ahead and get the money approved, but I'm not going to do anything on it myself until we get that out and we have permission. Because I'm not about to tell people that I work on our roads and I'm not going to work on yours because we suddenly decided after all these years that you're not part of us.
No, it's not that we decided, it's that this is what we have found. Along with the covenants and restrictions being so out of compliance with Texas property code and the plat maps, I have no idea what Roland Jackson did, but I really think he set us up to fail because we cannot legally.
Never mind. I'm not going to say it. Okay.
I was going to say because the sections of the roads, yeah, I get it. We've been doing it for years, and I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I'm just saying legally we can't.
So legally,
They could agree to this in a matter of a week if we send them out a letter.
You are casting a very dangerous web, Kelly.
I'm just putting out what's the truth and what's legal.
No, this is a power play for your own personal goal, and you are.
What's my personal goal? What is my personal goal?
You'll have to tell me.
You just said that you have talked about this for years.
As far as dissolving the POA and doing a private road maintenance contract. So much illegal stuff has popped up. I mean, you know, I'm not even going to get into that. But do we have somebody who wants to?
How much money do you need?
I'll make a motion that we use the funds, and I think we need to increase it from $2,000 to about at least $3,500 right now to buy materials for road repairs that we will make once this issue has been resolved.
I'll second that. Philip seconds.
I'm looking at the actual budget right now, and it says that our budget was $3,000. Jerry, you're saying $2,000.
I'm saying I want to increase it to $3,500 at this time to buy materials, because the way the roads are right now, at $2,000 is not going to be sufficient.
I'm not looking at it, but that was my point. I'm not looking at a budget that says $2,000.
Yeah, we've already gone 5,000 over our 3,000 budget. We've spent like 8,000. What Jerry, I think, is trying to say is that he originally thought he only needed $2,000, but now he thinks he needs 3,500 in addition to the 8,000 we've already spent.
That is correct, and we're into another year now anyway. Okay.
We still haven't even made that budget.
Okay.
That's okay. I still don't have a problem with it because it's our capital reserve account. As far as I'm concerned, that's what it is anyway.
Yep. Do I have a second?
Okay, so what the motion was
I
for
seconded
35. Okay, now this was before or after we talked to the Polly Ryan people?
No, this has nothing to do with that. This is an authorization of $3,500 for road repair. Period.
Okay.
Where it gets done is a separate issue.
Okay. Okay, Jerry motioned. Did I have a second?
So second.
Phil seconded it.
All in favor?
Any discussion?
Okay. Discussion?
I have nothing. We ready to vote?
I'm ready.
All in favor?
Philip, aye?
Kelly, aye.
There was a lot of breaking up going on. We're voting. There was a motion to increase the budget from $33,000 to $3,500 for 2025.
No, we're $3,500 just for road repair, and where it is going to be put down, it is a separate issue, but $3,500 for road repair.
And that's not budget for 2025, Charlene. That's money that we have currently that we're going to spend.
That's gonna leave us with $1,400, basically. Okay. Philip, Kelly, who else said aye?
Jerry?
Charlene.
Okay. Motion passed. All right.
Thank you to all of our volunteers who made it possible, because we would have been in a hole without the fundraising that took place.
Yeah, your wife did a bang-up job in those two fundraisers. I think she raised $5,500.
Yeah, something like that.
So,
But also, thank you to everybody who donated their labor, equipment, materials, and fuel to make that happen.
Absolutely.
okay. Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
No, I would like to have a moment to talk. I don't know if the other board members do too.
Okay.
I definitely would appreciate that.
Yes.
Thank you. So, one of the things Jerry brought up that I fully agree with early on this evening was the need to have regularly scheduled meetings, or at least, I don't think our bylaws basically say we don't have to have any meetings except for an annual meeting once a year, and I just, that's just wrong. We need to have quarterly or, some sort of a set schedule for open board meetings so that everybody can plan around their life and know these meetings are going to be there. And then if you want to have a special meeting, then, you call that outside of those meetings. Any thoughts on that?
Well, I agree, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I think we should agree on a schedule right now for our next open board meeting.
I have no problem with that. That's common to schedule the next board meeting at the end of a meeting.
Yes. So before we adjourn, I think we need to do that.
Okay, that's actually not in the thing, and I appreciate that, but it is something that we need to discuss in our regularly scheduled open regular board meeting.
We should at least add it to an agenda for our next meeting.
We can do that. We can add the discussion about scheduling meetings.
It's about having a schedule of meetings for the year.
And I agree with that, but before we adjourn, I think we should set a meeting date for our next board meeting, open board meeting.
Well, we need to send out this ballot, and it'll take a couple of days to get it emailed and printed and sent out. Kelly, I don't know what your schedule is, how long it would take you, but 20 days after that, because it is outside of a meeting. Pardon?
Let's get a calendar out.
I would see if the JP and the constable could come back and count them for us, or take the ballots to them, see if we can make an appointment, get some outside person again to count them.
I don't think that's necessary, but I see where it
So
goes to the mailbox, and the property owners just take it out, put it in the envelope provided, take it out, complete it, put it in the envelope you provided, and stick it into the mailbox. Are you going to avoid those like you did the other one?
We didn't void those. The ones that didn't have stamps on them,
And were postmarked.
if they were postmarked, they were valid. The JP and the constable discussed that.
Well, I'm not going to go to the constable, but they told me that they were given specific instructions, and all I'm asking you is, I know for a fact the property owner was there and present at the last election. He did not put his ballot through the mail. He returned it in the provided envelope, sealed it, and turned it into the box himself, and it was not counted. So is that the same criteria for, and every ballot going forward. It's in the envelope and it must be postmarked.
For this, it's mail-in or electronic. You either mail it in or you send it back through the email, and Kelly will take care of that because she's the secretary and that's what she's supposed to do. We're going to separate the lock from the key again from that box. One person has the key, one person has the box, so that nobody can get in there and tamper with it. The box will be opened by whoever counts it. Now, if y'all are saying that you think that the board can count these ballots, then so be it. The board will count the ballots. We'll schedule the meeting for counting these ballots.
Okay. And when are we going to schedule it?
Again, we need to make it clear to the member. They can't just, excuse me?
You're talking.
That they cannot just put it in that box. That was missed on the last vote.
What are you suggesting be done instead?
I say if they take the time to fill out the ballot and sign it, and it's legit, and they put it in that box, then it should be considered valid.
If they do it on the day of the vote and there's somebody present, there shouldn't be any reason why they can't.
I know at the last meeting where we had ballots, that very thing happened, and somebody came up even after they weren't supposed to, and I think they were allowed to put their ballot in because they were obviously a member.
If it was after the time, because the ballots were picked up at the specific time that it's stated on the ballot.
I know what it was. Somebody didn't have it and wanted to fill one out while they were there.
People were allowed to do that.
I think, Bill, you're talking about the vote on the loan, is that right?
No, because I don't think I was a board member then.
Yes.
I don't think I've been involved with any loans.
Yes, you were.
For the bridge, you mean?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I was thinking about the loan we just paid off.
Yeah.
Yes, that's probably correct.
But again, as long as there's somebody there witnessing on the day of the vote, counting that somebody is there, they're a board member, and they put it in before the time has expired, that could be a valid ballot.
Right, we'll count them at an open meeting, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's what y'all are wanting to do.
Yeah.
As long as we have a witness, I think an open meeting kind of lends an air of you can't mess with it,
Okay.
If the box can't be opened until that moment, and we have witnesses around when it's unlocked, and you have a couple of different people counting the ballots and verifying the numbers, then there hasn't been any hanky-panky.
We've done that with two votes. We've separated the lock from the key, so that cannot happen. So, okay, as far as the amendment, we want to add that ballots will be counted at open meeting by board members.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you're doing, Kelly. You're changing something.
No, I'm just adding the fact that we're going to send out the amendment, okay? And then I'm just adding that the ballots will be counted at the open meeting by the board members.
It's not a motion for anything. It's just a point of procedure.
Right.
And under the instructions, it says it has to be returned, signed, executed ballot in a marked envelope, and it must be received in a mailbox no later than such. It will not be electronic. And then we should say something about
In person.
ballots delivered on the day of the vote in person will be counted.
Yeah, in person needs to be added to, the ballot. Okay. 20 days will be the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Will be the 29th. February 1st is a Saturday. After?
The first is fine with me, or after any Saturday thereafter. But I just remembered we need to also include that proxies can be counted as well.
Proxies cannot be counted because it is, the Texas Property Code states that if you are making an amendment on a proposed adoption or amendment of a dedicatory instrument, that, okay, let me read it. Except as provided by subsection D, a vote cast by a member of a property owners association must be in writing and signed by the member if the vote is cast on a proposed adoption or amendment of a dedicatory instrument. So these have to be ballots.
Okay, well, as long as we know that
Nope.
in advance. We'll just make sure that the members know, and we probably should put that statement in here.
It is at the bottom of that ballot that I sent you.
Let me see.
Yeah. There's actually 5 things that require.
I still think you should put something in there saying a proxy ballot will not be counted. Because it doesn't say that.
We're not even going to send out a proxy. We're just sending out a ballot.
I think Jerry just said the statement saying there will be no proxies allowed for this vote.
Yeah, under instructions, add number 3 and state in there explicitly that proxy ballots are not allowed in this election.
Actually, I'll put it as the first one so they will see it to begin with.
That's
If you're
fine.
gonna do that, you might as well cite the code that supports it, so you don't end up having arguments.
And the code is on the bottom of it. Okay. So where did my pen go? Okay, February 1st, okay with everybody?
Let me look. Yes, for Philip. That's a Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah.
What time?
10 o'clock. We'll have to find a place. Is 10 o'clock okay?
10 o'clock's fine with me.
Oh, that's fine.
It's okay.
Charlene, is February 1st at 10 o'clock okay with you?
Yes, I do not have my calendar in front of me.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. Sorry, I'm trying to plug in.
That's my dog.
Yeah, I guess that's fine, but just so that I'm on the right page with everyone else, this meeting's not just to count ballots. This will be a full open meeting, correct?
We'll have an open meeting at that time, and then at that time, we're gonna schedule or to talk about scheduling periodic meetings or whatever else that we need to go through, discuss. It'll be a regular board meeting.
Okay, that's great. And we could get an agenda, if we could get together and put an agenda together to send out with the notice for that meeting, that would be awesome.
Agreed.
If you have concerns, if you could please email us, if we could talk amicably amongst the 5 of us, that would really be great. If you've got something that you need to talk about, email everybody, text everybody, because that is allowed. We can talk, just so long as we're not taking votes, outside of the meeting. We can discuss things so that we don't have to prolong these meetings for so long.
Well, I will not be voting. I'll discuss, but I won't be voting.
Well, it's not a matter of voting. It's discussion about it, and then we go into the meeting. If you've got a little bit of discussion that you want to talk about, about it and say your 2 cents, that's fine. But these 2-hour meetings, when we can discuss these things ahead of time.
But my opinion is that it becomes a bashing session, and it's not healthy discussion. And having said that, I would really like to clear the air and get some direction on me being accused of paying things unapproved.
Okay, if we're gonna go there, we're gonna go out there with y'all accusing me and Kelly and a few other people in this community of things that you've done out there on that website, and we're not gonna go into that right now. That's not what this meeting is about. So, I'm not gonna.
Anybody anything.
I'm not, your families, both your family and no, we're not gonna go there.
No.
On those websites, we're not gonna do that.
This is a forward email that said, I illegally paid funds.
I said it was authorized. You didn't talk to us about it. You didn't talk to us about it. And if it was something that you were supposed to do, if it was something that you were supposed to do 2 months ago, you should have done it 2 months ago. Way it wouldn't have been a problem.
It's time to stop.
Exactly.
We do have one more thing before we go that's unresolved. We need to figure out where we're going to fit it in.
Absolutely not. No one should be allowed to talk to someone else like that and then not be heard. That's
well, then you need to think about that too whenever you're doing the same thing. So
the expenses those expenses were approved back in August, or it was in August, and y'all were asking why she hadn't done it. So she's now done it. So that was approved.
So she's behind in doing what she was supposed to do 3 months ago? She's, again,
hey,
why is she not doing her job?
She's doing her job. It takes time to do some of this stuff, okay? So.
And some of the stamps, there's plenty of stamps left over that could have, she just wasted some money because Kelly and I have extra stamps left over that could have been given to her.
You're going to be using them.
What was that given? Okay, let me not. I was unaware of that. If that was available to me, it was not made aware to me.
You didn't ask.
Please let me finish. The accusation was not that I didn't do it in a timely manner. The accusation is that I did it illegally and
It was unauthorized.
Those funds were authorized previously.
Okay, well then she should have just replied, we had approved them, or that she was fixing to go, does anybody have any stamps? I need to go and make these payments, or I need to get stamps to mail this. It's about communication, and she can't do that.
And if you got questions, you should call and ask, okay?
Okay,
We all should be talking if we got questions instead of responding in that manner.
exactly.
And as a matter of fact, I spoke with Kelly Harrell the day that I filled it out and took it to the post office and got the stamp. My whole point in bringing this up is I do not see where I did anything illegally.
I just said unauthorized, I didn't say illegally.
Well, and it had been authorized.
Are we talking about a $38 expense?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
This is a ridiculous conversation.
exactly.
You realize that, don't you?
I agree. It was already authorized and $38.
We had $100 set aside for office supplies, and we had $100 set aside for postage. We didn't reach either of those budget things, and I don't see that, when I'm looking here, I don't see that that's the only postage expense I see for the 12 months.
Is the rest was donated?
Yeah, we're trying to save the association money by not spending that money, but
I donated all the
There are certain
postage
things
so
that we
far.
need to expect not to have to be voted on. We need to maybe have a procedures discussion about that, because in the furtherance of a person's function as secretary or treasurer, they should be given a minimal authorization to spend up to a certain amount for things like postage and office supplies without having to bring it to a board meeting.
I agree.
but we still need to approve expenses that, for what's being sent out.
It was.
We need to vote on how we want to handle that in the future.
Yeah, and that's something else that needs to, that needs to
We
be
have to work on
discussed
some
and,
policies and procedures so that
Yeah.
everybody's on the same page.
yeah.
But I mean, Kelly, you say that we can't function as a board, and that we talk and we should communicate. But that email right there is a prime example of I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't, and it just leads into a bunch of me getting bullied around and treated like I'm an idiot. Even
You only get what you give out. You get what you give out. I'm sorry.
And so,
And
I'd
it's
like to
probably
see
not
this
right.
conversation.
Yeah.
This isn't productive.
No.
I from my standpoint, I see plenty of fault on both sides of this board, and we just need to stop it.
all right.
To start behaving like grown-ups.
Yep, I agree.
I am trying.
I understand, and I'm not commenting one way or the other than just that we need to do better. And that being said, I am concerned that we left one thing unresolved, and that's who is going to send out letters to property owners who are not part of Camp Ranch Acres to ask them if they will contribute to road repair in front of their house. They will make donations for that, and if not, if they will at least give us written permission to work on the road, their road easement.
I can send that out. I just need to know specifically what wording everybody wants to have, because I am not making that decision on my own. What wording do you want specifically to be in there in regards to giving us written permission?
I'll draft up my,
If you guys are taking, if we pick the wrong person off, they could block us from getting to our home.
No, they
You
can't.
can't legally do that.
well,
Jerry, did you say you draft something up so we don't have to hash it out right now?
I will draft something up tomorrow and get it to everybody, no later than Saturday morning, okay?
Does everybody agree to handle that with texts or email?
Yeah.
so that we can resolve it outside of, before our next meeting?
Yeah, thanks, Jerry.
I want Jerry to be able to run the roads without anything getting in his way.
I'm sorry.
Once they give us permission, then we're good to go.
And other volunteers that are doing that, okay? Yeah, I'll draft up something, I will send it by email, okay?
Just
And,
remember the key points is to ask them to help, and if they won't help, at least just give us permission. In writing.
yeah, well,
And
like I said,
basically a hold harmless agreement, you know, they're not going to sue us if somebody, you know, whatever comes up.
I'll draft it up, okay?
Thanks, Jerry. That's all I had. I'm sure it'll go right through.
Well, we'll see. But anyway,
I hope so.
yeah, me too. Any other
I
discussion?
can't imagine anybody not giving us permission.
Kelly, did you have anything that you needed to add?
Nope, I am good. Just where are we having the meeting?
We'll figure that out at a later time. We've got a little bit of time to find a place. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Are we having a physical meeting? Obviously, we have to have a physical meeting. Forget I said that.
I'm sorry?
Forget
Yes,
I said anything, Jerry. I should have kept my mouth closed.
Yeah. I have a motion to adjourn.
I second.
No, I need somebody to motion.
No, I'll motion to adjourn.
Who is that?
Kelly.
Thank you, Kelly.
Seconded by Jerry. All in favor?
Bill, aye.
Hi, Jerry.
All right, it's 7:26. And we'll see y'all on the 1st.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Recording stopped.
Last little chat in there.